Hello and welcome to the Navigate Way. My name is Judy. I have signed over 7,000 leases, managed over 15,000 residents, and looked at over 20,000 applications. Today, we are going to go over some of the most frequently asked questions about the leasing process. Yes, over 90% of residents that live in a single family home have a pet. So the short answer is yes. We're not going to limit your pool to 10% of the people out there looking. However, we interview pets, we have pet addendums, we have pet deposits. We make sure that those pet owners are responsible for their pet the same way that we are going to expect them to be responsible for the home that you own and they are living in. The majority of our properties, we accept pets, but we have a number and size limit. So we would either need them to give away one of the cats or we would move on to the next applicant. Your lease is not considered executed until we have received the deposit. That holds the home for the move-in. If they have not delivered the deposit within a reasonable amount of time, about 12 to 24 hours, basically if you don't have that money ready to go, we will continue to show and take applications for the property just like normal. As a licensed brokerage, we do have to comply with fair housing laws. One of the main ones that we run into from time to time is a landlord saying, hey, can we limit the number of kids? Or I really want a family. We can't make choices based upon familial status. However, we can provide some direction and say things like no more than 2 related adults in the home, or no more than 3 unrelated adults in the home, if you wouldn't want more than like 3 roommates. So we can provide some direction there, but again, with our extensive application and qualifications process, we recommend casting the widest net possible and looking for the family, the roommates, the individual, whoever that may be, that is going to be best qualified and we can see are going to be responsible, pay their rent, protect the home they're living in, and make you proud as a landlord. There can be multiple reasons why someone may not be able to get a positive landlord verification. Simply put, they don't pass our qualifications and we would move on. If we're not able to get a hold of a landlord, we'll ask for additional phone numbers, emails, make personal calls, and send personal emails for a couple of days. If we still can't get in contact with them, we know that is really important and we will move on to the next applicant. Here at Navigate, like I mentioned, we have a robust application process. We will tell you who's been approved and celebrate with you that you're about to cash flow, but we know that our market is competitive. We will approve an applicant, send a lease, collect a deposit, and tell you what is going on all simultaneously. You are able to trust that Navigate, as the experts, are looking out for you, and also that you're backed by our guarantees if something doesn't go the way that we expect it to. That is an automatic disqualification. That says that you weren't able to pay your bills, also probably weren't able to pay your rent or your house payment, then we move on. In general, individuals or families that are renting are going to have lower credit scores than someone who owns a house. We do not look so much at the credit score number. We look at what's on the credit report. Is your credit score low because you don't use credit that much? You prefer cash? Is your credit score low because you've opened a lot of accounts, paid them off, and then closed them? Or is your credit score low because you have a lot of money owed and you have a lot of payments that are due every month? So If that is the case, where a credit score is abnormally low, we'll go a little deeper and see what the actual debt to income ratio is. We have a policy in place for this that is standardized, but for the most part, we don't really run into that because, again, we state our qualifications plainly up front, letting individuals know that they have to make 3 times the rent and their debt to income ratio will be considered. Hopefully, they have a little idea of what's on their own credit report. The good news is our North Texas marketplace is very competitive. We don't currently allow for any move-ins more than 30 days from the day they sign their lease. We have had that standard as long as we've been open, and it has worked very well. We put that in our qualifications for all of our listings, so anyone that is even coming to look at the home knows if I like it, I gotta be ready to move 30 days or less. That's one more way that we are watching your bottom line and making sure you cash flow on your investment property just as quickly as possible. In Texas, the security deposit has to be held separately. Technically, that money doesn't really belong to anyone until the end of the lease. At that point, it either goes back to the resident or funds are pulled to cover any sort of damages or make-ready items that need to be done above your typical wear and tear. Every person that is living in a household that is over the age of 18 or over, they still have to apply along with the individuals who would be the primarily financially responsible. And the reason for that is if we ever did have to go through an eviction process, anyone over the age of 18 does have to be listed on those forms. So we just make sure that we take care of that from the very beginning. If a property is sitting longer than expected, first thing to note is that we are watching why this may be happening from the very beginning. We get daily reports as the leasing team as far as feedback goes. We know who's looking at the property. We know how many people are reaching out, right? You as an owner also receive a report on Wednesdays so you can kind of see if the interest is low. And then finally, if it does look like maybe something is off, we take a step back. We rerun the comps. We take a look at the listing. We take a look at photos. We make sure again that it is showing up on over 85 syndicated websites. If we see anything that looks like a reason that the property may not be gathering the attention that it needs, we are going to make adjustments immediately. This does happen, and we have a system in place. We don't pick and choose from residents. We actually take applications first come, first serve. Remember, we set high expectations. We have a multitude of qualifications. If the first person that applies meets all of our expectations and qualifications, we're going to move forward and offer them a lease. If they don't, then we move on to the next applicant. So Zillow now charges to list properties for rent. We pay for it because the reality is most people are still going to be going through Zillow to look for your property. It doesn't make sense for us not to put it there. Guarantees are important because we stand behind what we do. We know that you are trusting us with the management of a portfolio of properties, and we want you to know that we take seriously the promises and expectations that we're making to you. If we are not able to fulfill them, we have some guarantees that back up our recommendations, suggestions, our leadership as experts in this field. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. Everybody needs this information if they're working in real estate or have rentals. And then down below, you will see some links to some of our other videos, longer shows and podcast form, where you can learn more about our processes in depth.